let's get started. Big changes are coming to the FAFSA, so I'm sure many of you have heard a little bit about these changes. Before I start discussing the changes that are happening, I want to take a moment to talk about the cost of attendance and what that means. Before I get into the actual numbers for the SIU cost of attendance, I do want to point out those numbers are based on the 2016-17 rates for students enrolled in 15 credit hours a semester. So let's take a look at the cost of attendance. It is composed of two different costs. You have your direct cost. Your direct cost you will see billed directly to your bursar account. Those are typically your tuition and your fees. For students living on campus, your room and board will also bill directly to your bursar account. So that will also be a direct cost. For all other students living off campus, room and board will be an indirect cost, along with books and supplies, your living expenses, and transportation. So your indirect costs are costs you will incur by completing your education, but they are not billed to your bursar account. We still take those into consideration and add those with your direct cost to get your total cost of attendance. The total cost of attendance is the total cost it will take you to attend SIU and live in Carbondale for one academic year. So as you look at that number, many students and families need help coming up with that amount to pay for their education. And hence, that is why we encourage our students to complete the free application for federal student aid, otherwise known as the FAFSA. Let's take a moment and discuss what is the FAFSA. It is a form you complete to be considered for federal, state, and institutional aid to help you cover that cost of attendance number that we have discussed. Change number one. The FAFSA is available starting October 1st. So the FAFSA used to be available after January 1st. The Department of Education has changed that date, and I will come back to that. You will go online to complete your FAFSA at fafsa.ed.gov, and I have a screenshot here shortly. I will show you what that looks like. You will also need your FSA ID and password. Continuing students, you have already created an FSA ID and password to do prior FAFSAs. Make sure you have that information and you can log in to start your FAFSA. Incoming students, you will need to create one, and then you need to write it down, put it in safekeeping, because you will need that information for future years. Change number two, you will use your 2015 tax information. In previous years, the Department of Education has required you to use your prior tax year information. We have now changed it to prior tax year. So for the 17-18 year, you can use your 2015 tax information, which makes it easier to complete it on October 1st. This is a change that will be constant from here on out moving forward. And as I talk about using your prior year tax information, it makes it easier on you as a student because you can use the IRS data retrieval tool. So when you log into your FAFSA and you are given this option, I always encourage you to press yes. What it does, it syncs your FAFSA information directly to the IRS website so that they can transfer your taxes into your FAFSA and transfer it to the school. This cuts down on the amount of paperwork that you as students and families have to complete to verify any of your tax information. I know, a lot to take in. So that's just the basics with what's happening with the changes and when the FAFSA will be available. Okay, so this is the screenshot of the fafsa.ed.gov website. This is what you should see. It's a free application for federal student aid. So you should not be prompted to pay a fee. If you are, then you're on the wrong website and you need to redirect yourself to the federal student aid site. So what do you qualify for when you complete the FAFSA? First, I want to take a moment and discuss the equation. So once you complete your FAFSA, it is sent off to a federal processor, and they determine your expected family contribution for your EFC. And what that number is the amount they deem your family can pay towards your education. This number right here, this EFC number, is constant throughout any college or university. It does not change. That is then sent to SIU, and we take that number and subtract it from your cost of attendance to determine what your financial need is. Based upon that financial need number, we try to fill that with different types of awards that you qualify for. So what type of awards can you qualify for through the FAFSA? First and foremost, there are grants. Grants are need-based aid, so you do not, and gift-based aid, so you do not have to repay those. There are 3 primary grants that we offer here at SIU: the Federal Pell Grant, the State of Illinois MAP Grant, and the SIU Institutional Grant. The State of Illinois MAP Grant and the SIU Institutional Grant are time sensitive. What I mean when I say that, we award until funds are exhausted. So it's very important to complete your FAFSA as early as possible to be considered for maximum grant funding if you are eligible. Aside from grants, there is Federal Work Study. It is a campus-based employment program. Let me start out with saying Federal Work Study will never pay directly to your Bursar account. It can be used if you find a student employment position on campus to be paid to you in the form of a paycheck. Then we have loans. So there are Federal Direct Fort Stafford loans that you are considered for when you complete your FAFSA. There are subsidized and unsubsidized loans. So the difference is subsidized is a need-based loan. Your interest does not start adding up until either you graduate or you drop below half-time enrollment. Your unsubsidized loan is non-need based. So your interest is going to start adding up the day the loan pays into your Bursar account. If you are borrowing student loans, we always encourage you to stay up to date with the current interest rate for those loans. And the current rate as of this year is 3.76%. It does change annually. We do have that updated information available to you on the Financial Aid Office website. So after students receive their financial aid award package, many still have a gap that they need to fill. And a lot of students choose private loans to do so. So we want to make sure that you are as educated as possible on private loans and what to look for when you're deciding who you want to borrow through. So first, there's some important information we'd like you to consider. You are not considered for private loans through the FAFSA. Students most likely are required to have a cosigner. I say that because a lot of our students do not have much credit built yet. So you have to have a cosigner because credit checks are required for private loan applications. Last but not least, the terms and conditions and interest rates on private loans are different from federal loans. So if you have federal loans and private loans, those terms and conditions and interest rates are going to be different from each other. So with that being said, we've had a lot of students coming into the financial aid office asking us, who we prefer them go to for a private loan. And with that, we've come up with a preferred lender list. These institutions on the preferred lender list have the best terms and conditions, interest rates. They have great customer service for our students to go through. By no means are you required to go through any of these lenders, but if you are interested in private loans, we do encourage you to log into our preferred lender list and check them out. If you do find that you would like to do that, you can go online to the Financial Aid Office website, go to our private loan section and choose the preferred lender list link, and then you will see this screen. Select the appropriate option of which is more important to you and matches your situation, and then you will go through a list of questions. And based upon your responses to those questions, you'll be matched with different financial institutions that will be the best fit for your private loans. As always, as you come up with questions as you're going through this process, please feel free to reach out to us. We're happy to help address those questions. Okay, so as we talk about student loans, student loan debt is a huge topic that's plaguing, national news, online articles. So I want to make sure you understand where we kind of stand with the average student loan debt nationally and where we stand just within the state of Illinois. So if you take a look at this map, I love this map, but for some reason it says that North Dakota has no data, and that's false. They do have student loan debt. They're probably somewhere at $26,500. But take a look at the map. Does it surprise you? The East Coast has, less amount of average debt than the West Coast, I'm sorry, has less amount of average debt than the East Coast. What about the state of Illinois? We're a little bit higher. That map intrigued me. So we started to go and do some research. Our average student loan debt for the national level is based at about $28,950. When I say the average student loan debt, that's the average debt that a graduating senior will have once they graduate with their undergraduate degree. State of Illinois is a bit higher than the national average at $28,984. So then look at SIU. We are below both of those averages at $24,264. And that's very recent. It's pulled from our class of 2016. So why do we have a less average debt than national in the state of Illinois? Well, when you see your financial aid award package and you go online in Saluki Net to accept your awards, you have some options. If you take a look, this unsubsidized loan, it was a total of $2,000. You have the option to accept a partial amount of your federal student loan. So say you only need $1,000 really within that loan. Well, then that's all you have to accept. You don't have to accept the full $2,000. And I encourage you, challenge yourself. If you don't think you need the full $2,000, challenge yourself to try to get by without that. With that being said, if you do need the full amount of the loans offered for you, that's what they're here for. They're here to help you pay for your education. That's going to lead us right back into smart borrowing. Loans are here to help you finance your education and get your degree. There's nothing wrong with borrowing. But we want to make sure you are following smart borrowing habits so you are prepared and ready to make those payments when it comes to graduation on your student loans. So I have 4 habits of a smart borrower that I want you to abide by. And if you abide by these habits, you will be very prepared once you come for graduation to pay back those student loans and start life beyond college. So first of all, only borrow what you really need. Loans are here to help you with educational costs. And as I keep saying educational costs, I mean tuition, fees, room and board, and books. Loans are not here to help you pay for that spring break vacation. And I say that because here's an example. You take out an extra $500 to pay for a spring break. And then when it comes back to paying back that loan, it's increased to $550, $575. You have interest that you're adding onto that loan. So you don't want to pay interest on a spring break. Use that for educational cost. Loan indebtedness letters. Starting in October, you should receive a loan indebtedness letter from the financial aid office. If you are of sophomore status and you have borrowed from us last year. That loan indebtedness letter is going to show you your borrowing through spring of 2016, and it's going to give you some examples of what your repayment is going to look like. I actually have an example that I am going to show you a little bit later in this webinar. Keep track of how much you have borrowed, and I have in parentheses there that iGrad loan portal. As long as you know where you're at and you do not let that element of surprise sneak up on you with your student loans, you should be comfortable with what you are going to be repaying. So make sure you're keeping track of that, and I will show you a great, easy way how you can keep track of that with iGrad. Last but not least, ask questions now, not later. I'm here to help you. All of the faculty and staff on this campus are here to help you as you have questions. If we can't help you, we're going to guide you to the right person, or we're going to find that answer for you. So please don't hesitate to reach out to us. So here's an example of the loan indebtedness letter that you should receive mid to late October from the financial aid office. So you'll see it tells you through spring of 2016, so it's not taking into account your fall loans. So here's the estimated subsidized and unsubsidized loan debt for this letter. We then give an interest rate, and for the purpose of this letter, we use 4.8%. That is by no means the interest rate that will be when you're repaying your loans. But based upon those numbers, we're able to calculate, here's what your monthly payment's going to be under a standard repayment plan, which is a 10-year plan. And then here's how much you've paid overall on your loan. And this is how much you've paid in interest over the lifetime of your loan. So you really get to see the breakdown of the numbers. If you have Perkins loans, we do the same calculation. And then if you look below, a particular interest is the career interest section. We pull what your major is according to university records, and then we give you this link. I encourage you to go online and type up that link and see what your estimated starting salary will be based upon what your degree will be and where you're wanting to work in the nation, and then compare that salary to what your monthly student loan payments are. The general rule of thumb is that your total student loan debt should not exceed your expected first-year salary after graduation. We then continue to provide you with different academic and financial planning resources to help you make different smart borrowing decisions throughout your undergraduate career, and also to help you learn more about different terms involving your student loans. And it does continue on to a third page. So that is the loan indebtedness letter. I now want to take a minute to show you all iGrad. For those of you that are not familiar with iGrad, it is an online financial literacy platform that is available to all of our students, our faculty, and staff free of charge. And we really encourage you to log on and see how iGrad can be of use to you. But I would like to show you how to get there and give you a brief rundown of how iGrad works. You get to iGrad by logging into your SalukiNet account. Once in SalukiNet, you'll go to your My Finances tab. You'll choose the Saluki Cents Financial Literacy program, and you will be redirected to iGrad. So this is what you're generally going to see once you log into iGrad. If you have never created your account before, you will be prompted to create your own personalized profile. You'll put your name, your email, what your degree is going to be in, any financial topics that may be of interest to you. And then iGrad can use that information to populate different articles and videos and resources that may be of use to you based upon your needs and interests that you indicated. So if you look up top here, there's a slew of different options that you can click on. So if you were to go to the Articles tab, you can see that iGrad has hundreds of articles over money topics, career, lifestyle, education. You can search for different articles within each topic, or say you want something specific. I don't know if I want to bank at a bank or a credit union. Well, according to that search, iGrad's going to pull up videos and articles that match what you're looking for. I want to point out something about these articles as I slowly scroll through here. That's the end. These articles are short and sweet, and they're divided into sections so that you can look at what's of most interest to you. They know we don't want to read a long article, so they have tailored it to us. So a great feature to look at and to kind of sort through and see which articles are of interest to you. If you are more of a visual learner, then by all means click on the iGrad TV and you can watch videos on money and financial literacy topics. They have financial aid videos that give you brief introductions to different financial aid topics. They also have live webinars that you can subscribe to as well. And just as with the articles, you can type in a certain topic that you're looking for and different videos and articles will populate according to that topic. So let's move on. They have a job search function. So when I told you it asked you to put what you're getting your degree in when you were creating your profile, there's a reason for that. It's going to sync that into the job search. And then you can filter your search based upon location, where you're looking for your position, and then based upon what kind of position you're looking for. For some reason, let's try 50 miles. It's not going to pull jobs up right now. Here we go. Okay, so with 50 miles, this is the only position that came up that matched my degree. So I'm going to click on it, read through it. It gives me the information on the position, what my duties would include. If I decided that, yes, this is a good fit for me, I could click right here to apply and it will take me directly to the application. So another great tool to use. There's a financial literacy tab. This tab contains many different resources for you to utilize. Of particular interest is the student loan snapshot that I was telling you all about earlier, where you can upload your federal student loans. Right here, keep track of where your borrowing is. One important thing to note, this is a very secure site. You're the only one that is going to see this information. It's through your Saluki net. It's a single sign-on that only you have information to. Make sure you take note of that. But it's going to show you your total subsidized and unsubsidized student loans, and then it's going to show you your loan servicer. What I mean when I say loan servicer, yes, you borrow your loans through the federal government, but they contract out through different financial institutions. So you're repaying your loans to some type of financial institution that the government has contracted out through. And here you can look and see who that institution is. There's also calculators, there's different resources, there's modules that you can complete. So many different resources here on the financial literacy tab. The next tab is a town hall type tab. So you can go here if you have a question about money management or career, education, whatever that question may be, you can type it in here and an iGrad expert will actually answer your question. One thing you might notice as you start typing your question, it may already come up, and that's because someone has already asked it, and then you can just see the answer to that automatically. The financial aid tab is a great tool to use if you have general questions about what a subsidized loan or unsubsidized loan, just very general on financial aid. If you have anything specific to SIU or your financial aid account, we always encourage you to come see our office. And then finally, we have the scholarships tab. So this is a huge scholarship search, and you can filter your search based upon education, eligibility, type, amount, and different scholarships will populate according to what you put. Just so you know this is here, I will talk more about this in the Scholarship for Dogs webinar on November 7th. That's iGrad in a nutshell. Feel free to log in, create your account, and see how iGrad can best benefit you. So next, I'd like to take you to the Saluki Cents part of the Financial Aid Office website. Once you're on the Financial Aid Office website, fao.siu.edu, you can click over here and go to Saluki Cents. As you see, we have a portal with 4 main different sources. Save money at SIU, make smart financial choices, manage your money, and prepare for your future. So say you want to learn to save money at SIU. We have tips under different topic areas on how you can save money. If you want to look into make smart financial choices, we have information on student loans and student refunds. Manage your money. We have information on budgets. You can create your own personalized budget diary. Credit. Identity theft. Did you know that identity theft is largest among students 18 to 24 years old? And finally, taxes. So that's another great tool for you to utilize. Last but not least, prepare for your future. As you're getting closer to graduation and you have student loans, we have loan repayment information, also information on investing and saving. So make sure to utilize these resources as you start to have questions about different personal finance topics. We also have videos located throughout the site if you are more of a visual learner and like to learn more on videos. If you click over within Saluki Cents, we also have a list of our events, of our different workshops going on. Our next one is actually tomorrow from 2 to 3 at the Student Center. If you're graduating in December, we have a seminar on loan repayment. And then we will have another webinar on November 7th for scholarships. So, showing you all of this, we want to make sure you are aware of all of the different resources that are available to you. These Saluki Cents events, the workshops, the webinars, take advantage of them. Did you know if you came to 3 of the 6 workshops, you have a chance at a $1,000 scholarship? The next webinar, Scholarships for Dogs, will have information on where you can search for scholarships, as well as different materials you may want to include in your scholarship applications. I showed you the Saluki Cents website and iGrad. Make sure to take advantage of those resources. We have a class. If personal finances are something of interest to you or you'd like to learn more about them, this is just for you. It's UCall 106. It's a 2 credit-hour course. You can take it online for 8 weeks, or you can take it on campus for 16 weeks. Here's my contact information. I am the Financial Literacy Coordinator. As you have questions about managing your finances and smart borrowing decisions you need to make, as well as searching for scholarships, feel free to come in and see me for one-on-one appointments. Also, feel free to contact me by email or by phone. I am happy to help you in any way that I can. So that concludes my portion of the webinar. We'd like to take some time to answer some questions that you all have had.
Shorty, we did have one question about the partial loan acceptance. If a student partially accepted a loan, can the remainder of the loan be accepted at a later date if they need it?
Yes. Within that same award year, if you accept a partial amount of loan and you decide that you do need that remaining portion, you can come into the financial aid office and fill out a request to change form and request that additional money.
I don't have any other questions right now, but I've asked if they have any other questions. I know this has been very helpful and informative for me, and some have said that this was their first time becoming familiar with iGrad specifically. We do have another question. After FAFSA, do all students qualify for some award?
That's a loaded question. There are different eligibility requirements for different awards. Most students, as long as you have fulfilled all the financial aid requirements on completing your paperwork that we've asked for, will have a federal direct unsubsidized loan that they should be able to be eligible for. That is as long as you've not been at another institution and have not exceeded your loan limits. But that is the one award that most students will qualify for. Any other questions? Well, thank you all for attending this webinar today. We hope to see you tuned in on November 7th for the Scholarships for Dogs webinar. And again, if you have questions, please feel free to reach out to us.